Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm just gonna run through my trade recaps this week. As usual. I just did a full recap video, but for some reason I had some issues with my recording software. So yeah, it wasn't. I don't know what happened, but yeah, for whatever reason it didn't get recorded. So I'm just gonna run through the trades again. All right. So I took 3 trades this week. I think the trading week was pretty decent. I didn't make too many mistakes. Actually, I don't think I made any mistakes, so that was pretty good. So yeah, so I'll just talk you guys through the trades, right? So the first trade here for me this week was here on GBPCHF. It was taken in the 4-hour time frame. It was a short position, right? It was a reversal entry. One of my reversal entry strategies. So this was a reversal entry on the 4-hour time frame after regular divergence on the daily. Price was overextended and had an impulsive sell breaking previous lows, entered after a corrective move back to the broken lows after rejection. All right, so this was the trade here at the time of entering. Cool. So we had price was kind of overextended here on the daily time frame. It's been on this uptrend. Well, it's been pushing higher, kind of parabolic for a while, right? We had higher highs on price, lower highs on the RSI, and then we had this impulsive sell breaking past the previous lows. It pulled back correctively to retest the lows, and that's when I entered, right? So I'll just jump to the chart here, GBPCHF. So I'll just recap again. So daily time frame, right? So we kind of had this sideways movement for a while. Price broke out of that sideways range, pushed higher. It started to show signs of exhaustion, right? You could tell that after this kind of strong move up, we kind of started to slow down, right? Sellers came in, buyers came back in, right? Showing that signs of weakness in the trend. Then we had that impulsive sell after having that regular divergence, right? So we had the lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on price, breaking past previous daily lows impulsively, and then slowly correcting, right? So on a 4-hour time frame, right, if you just look here, that kind of retracement, right, you can tell, right, you have this very, very strong impulsive move, and then it's kind of slow, kind of corrective, kind of market structure, pulling back into the broken lows, right? These are those broken lows on the daily time frame, right? So once we broke those lows, I kind of had this trend line here drawn in on the lower time frames just to get an idea of the shift in momentum, right? So we had this kind of 15-minute uptrend structure. So you had that for first touch, second touch, third touch, and then we kind of had that slow trickle past the trend line, right? Showing that slowing in momentum, right? And we kind of tested it. So previously we had support, previous support, turn resistance, right? So after that, we kind of had that shift in structure, right? So we had your low, your high, your low, your lower high, and now your lower low, right? So after that shift in structure on the lower time frames, I just had a look to see that shift of structure happen, and then I just entered here on the 4-hour time frame after that pacing line, a pacing line pattern just here, right? So big bullish candle followed by bearish candle closing in more than 50% range of that previous candle, right? So that would kind of be like a rejection candle on the higher time frames, right? So enter there, and then first target was here at previous structure lows on the 4-hour time frame, so just there, which worked out to be 1.5R. So booked half profit there. The second target is going to be at these previous lows here. I'm not sure how I'm going to play this yet. I'll make decisions once price gets to that level. If it does, I've got an alert there to see how price gets to the level, right? If it gets there very impulsively, then I may just trail my stops to previous highs and then kind of aim for these final targets, right? I'll also pay attention to these lows here. If price gets to that level, I'll see what price does at the level. But ultimately, I'm thinking price can kind of come back to kind of around this level here, right? Somewhere around this level. I'm not sure if I'm gonna hold it that long, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I'll just play this one by ear and just do whatever price tells me to do. All right, so that's how I'm gonna play that one. The second trade for me this week was on USDCHF. So it was taken on the 4-hour time frame. It was a short position. All right, it was a typical break and retest of previous lows on the H4 time frame. There's H4 hidden divergence, 30-minute regular divergence. The entry trigger came on the 1-hour time frame, but I entered on the 15-minute time frame after price retraced to the trigger point. I think I caught the trade a little bit late, so I just waited for that pullback to the trigger level. Move stops to break even at 1 hour, and then I think I may not have been a full 1 hour. Right, I think it was a little bit sooner because there was news coming out, but it was very close to that 1 hour point. All right, and then I was stopped at break even. All right, so this was the trade here at the time of entry. All right, so we had, I mean, this we'll talk it through in more detail, right? But here on the 4-hour time frame, we just kind of have that slow, kind of trickly, kind of corrective downtrend structure, right? But right, we're still forming lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? And then we had that impulsive break and that slow correction, right? So we had that. This is the price action that got me interested into taking this trade, right? Impulsive break of the lows and then that slow move back into the level after rejection, right? And then this was the trade here at the time that I closed it off. Or at least at the time that I was stopped out of the position, right? So we had price tried to push lower, and then you had that kind of bullish price action, right? It was seeing plenty rejection to the downside here, right? So and then I think there was news coming out, as I said at the time, right? And so I moved my stops to break even, and I was taken out of the trade here at break even, right? So I'll just jump to the chart here on USDCHF. Yep. All right, cool. So right, so we have here on USDCHF, if you look at the daily time frame, right? So we were previously in this clear, very clear downtrend, right? So we had this downtrend here. If I just yeah, something like that, right? So like so. Let's make it a little bit neater. So yeah, something like that, right? So we had lower highs, lower lows, respect of the trend line all the way down. Then it was broken impulsively, tested as support. We had that, also had that nice head and shoulders formation just there. And so your left shoulder, head, right shoulder, impulsive break, came back, retesting the neckline, and then you had that impulsive move afterwards. But if you look on the daily, right, we kind of had that parabolic move, same as we did on GBPCHF, parabolic move, but we had that higher high on price, lower high on the RSI. We also had a break of these daily structural lows, right? So we had that last level of structure just there, and it was broken. It wasn't broken impulsively, but it was broken, right? So it was broken, it was retested. It's kind of hard to see. I'll just zoom in a little bit. All right, so it was broken here, pull back to the level, retested, and then we had that continuation, right? So on a 4-hour time frame, I was just trying to capitalize on a little piece of this, right? And after this impulsive break of these previous lows, I was just looking for that nice slow correction back into the level. We had that morning star formation, right? So bullish candle, indecision candle, big bearish candle closing within 50% of that bullish candle, right? So we had that formation formed here. I entered on the close of that candle, put stops well above the level, just clearing the level, which worked, right? So, you know, but price didn't quite hit that 1 hour, right? I think it came to like 0.9 hour, right? So just a little bit shy of that 1 hour point. But as I said, we had news coming out, and I just wanted to play a little bit of defense on this trade because of the price action that I was seeing here. We had lots of rejection to the downside, right? Well, I guess you could call it bullish rejection, but it was not a clear level or anything like that, right? It's just rejection candles showing signs of struggle, right? I typically like to see price or trades just kind of push into profit, right? Because I tend to think for the best trades, they'll just go into profit straight away, right? The trade would have worked out, or would it be still working out, had I held the position, but I was happy with my trading decision to close it off, right? So anyway, so that was that trade. As for final targets, I was kind of targeting this kind of like just before this trend line here, confluence with this zone just here on the daily. So these previous highs just here. So yeah, something like that would have been cool for final targets, and that might very well be met. But anyway, happy with my trading decision nonetheless. Right, so last trade for me this week was on AUDCAD. Right, it was taken on a forward time frame as a long position. Right, it was a break and retest of the neckline, so very similar to here on USDCHF with that head and shoulders pattern here, that reversal pattern. So similar sort of stuff, break, retest, and then looking for that continuation. Similar sort of setup. Right, so it's a break and retest on the daily, on the neckline, and the main it's a break and retest of the neckline in the main trend direction of the daily. Right, it was after a 4-hour rejection, and the entry trigger came on the 1-hour time frame. Closed half the position at 1.4 hour before the weekend closure, and it was also before my intended TP. All right, and this was the trade here at the time that I entered. All right, so we had previous downtrend structure, lower highs, lower lows, but we had that formation of that left shoulder, head, right shoulder, impulsive break, came back, retested, right, retested the neckline just here, had that rejection candle here on the forward time frame. I was just looking for that continuation. Also had the confluence of this possible trend line starting to be formed here on the forward time frame. All right, so I'll just jump to the chart here. So AUDCAD. All right, cool. So all right, so we have, so price was previously in this uptrend, right? We broke the uptrend, broke it impulsively, started forming lower highs, lower lows, right? We also had this trend line here that started to be formed, and then yes, we were having impulsive sells, but we're having slow corrections, right? Impulsive sell, slow correction, impulsive sell, slow correction, impulsive sell, right? Rejection candle, right? Rejection candle of the lows, and then followed by that slow correction, but then we had that impulsive breaking past the trend line, right? Then we had the formation of the right shoulder, and then another impulsive break here of the neckline of that. I could probably show it a little bit clearer on the forward time frame. All right, so that's the head and shoulders pattern just here, right, on the forward time frame. All right, so sellers came in, buyers tried to push price higher, they couldn't get it any higher. Sellers came back and pushed price lower, but then buyers stepped in and pushed price back to that level, right? Even pushed it a little bit higher. Buyers got weak, sellers came back in, but they were never able to push price back to the low that they had before. Instead, buyers stepped in and pushed price way higher, impulsively breaking past the previous level of struggle, right? So I was just looking for price to pull back into that level with rejection, which came on this 4-hour candle here, right? I think I also got my entry trigger at the same time on the lower time frames. Yeah, so we had that bullish engulfing candle just there, taking out that price action, taking out all this price action just here, and that's kind of where I entered, right? So I think, yeah, price, so this would have been my entry candle there, right? So price pulled back in, gave me that rejection again, and that's where I entered, right? And I closed the trade off. I closed half of my position off at the close of this candle because it was kind of coming to that point on Friday where, you know, anything could kind of happen just to close off the weekend when people just kind of closing their orders and all that stuff. So I just played a little bit more defense, booking some profits before the weekend, moving my stops to break even. The first target is really this previous level of structure here, so that's going to be my first official target, but I just decided to peel some profits off just here. I think it was a smart decision. So yeah, and that's pretty much it, right? That's I'm just gonna hold this position and see if it could kind of reach. If it continues to go in my direction, then happy days. I'll see if it could kind of reach these previous highs here, and then if it does, then I'll aim for those you know, new highs, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for the trading week. I was happy with my performance this week. Not too many errors. Analysis was okay. I could have probably done a little bit better on some entries, but you know, it's never gonna be perfect, right? So yeah, I was happy with the trading week, and hopefully I get some more good trading weeks coming ahead. And yeah, so as usual, if you like what you see and you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. And if you think these videos would be useful for anyone that's trying to learn to trade, or you know, they may be able to pick some stuff up, you know, feel free to share the videos with whoever you believe it may give some help to, right? Cool. That's it for me today, and I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow. Well, definitely tomorrow for the analysis video. All right, see you later.